Chad Baldwin podcast. This is episode 3. And man, we are coming back from a RWA medal. Oh man, that show was amazing. We saw matches like Beast returning against Country Biscuit. Beast, really impressive, picking up a win in like 2 seconds. That was so huge from Beast. Beast was really impressive in that. Eldrax returned against Brawler in rings action. Uh, and now he's in the RWA Money in the Bank match at Rebelmania. So there you go. Chaos versus a debuting superstar in Maxwell Grimes. Maxwell Grimes, man, big performance, big showing he had in it, and yeah, he put up a fight, but Chaos ended up with the victory. Then we had Julio Ortiz take on Andrew Storm. The match lasted for a decent amount of time until Andrew Storm hit the eye of the storm, and that was it. Then we seen in the main event, Kelvin James, Brian Adams, and the Demon Jello take on the New Empire. This was basically a handicap match. Kelvin James was attacked before the match and left down with no one attending him. So something's up there, and something's really messed up. But the person I'm pointing the fingers to is the New Empire. I mean, just look at them. They're not big friends with him at all. They certainly don't like him. So, it would seem like the New Empire jumped him in backstage. So, yeah. And we also seen my guest today defend his Ringmaster Championship, Ryan Shuler versus Arn Austin. That match was back and forth, fast paced. But in the end, Ryan Shuler hit that super kick and picked up the victory. And he is still your Ringmaster champion. Yeah. So, without a shadow of a doubt, it's time to bring him on. Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Shuler, Ringmaster champion. Hello.
Welcome. It's a pleasure to be here. I should have been the first, but it's all right.
I gotta say, I am very happy you were on the show. I mean, it was either you or Miles, but, I had to go with the boss at the time, or else he was gonna fire me. So,
Yeah, you got a point there.
I had to save my job in the end. But thanks for coming on the show today. I mean, it's a pleasure to be in your presence, considering everything you've done and all the leagues you've been in.
Yeah.
You've really been spectacular. So, thank you, man.
Yeah, I have been.
We're gonna start right out the gate. Like I said, and I was talking about in my review with Metal just moments ago, I talked about you versus Arn Austin for the Ringmaster Championship, and which was a fast-paced back and forth match. So, what was your mindset going into that, going against a veteran like Arn Austin?
It was just a win, honestly. Me and him have a lot of history, so I kind of had an idea of what to do in the match, and it worked out. I'm expecting to hold this title for a very, very long time.
I'm expecting you to hold it as well. I mean, you so far has been the dominant champion. And we also seen Chaos win a number 1 contender match for your championship. And we'll
Yeah.
see that this coming up medal. So how do you feel? How are you going to prepare for Chaos? A man who has defeated you before. How are you going to prepare?
I just got to learn from my mistakes. The last match, I've been watching that same match over and over and over again, 5 hours a day, preparing for this.
I will say, I'm looking forward to that match. It is going to be competitive as hell. But yeah, you accomplished a lot in RWA. That being a breakout championship reign, and that same breakout title reign was not appreciated. I mean, you look at the breakout championship history video, which had every breakout champion in it besides you. People don't know that you won that title against a pretty tough and huge opponent. So, what would you say about that? Like, do you feel underappreciated?
I felt disrespected, personally. I feel like I should have been in it, you know. Not just anybody can come in and win a title like I did within 3 months of being in here. And, you know, kind of got looked over. And being a tough opponent, a veteran at the time, King K, that was a tough one. Put him through 2 tables, so that was fun. You know, I feel like, though, it's not appreciated because we got newer guys here. Not as many people know. Then again, that's no excuse for the video because the person that made it was the owner. So, yeah.
I believe myself it should have been in there. I mean, you didn't hold it and really defend it that much in that same title reign, but the point is you had the title and it should have been acknowledged, you know. Uh
Exactly.
that was like your career here in RWA, really underappreciated until now. It seems like the owner is now behind you. Do you think they should have woken their eyes up before that?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I feel like I'd have way more titles right now, way more accomplishments in RWA if bad management wasn't a thing back then, and corruption and stuff like that wasn't around back then.
There was a man in the back called Demon Jello. Um,
Hmm.
you and him, I mean, it was obvious you didn't like him and he didn't like you. What went wrong between the two of you?
It all started with him just screwing people over in matches and getting involved, uh, not doing what he's supposed to do as a cameraman, bad management, corruption, just all of the above with it, lying and stuff like that to me. And, you know, he always disrespected me. There was just so much with him and me. We've never looked eye to eye ever since.
A lot of people did not like Jello at all, just for
Hmm.
that fact. And I'm pretty sure you're not the only one. There's plenty more people. Um,
Oh, definitely.
then we seen you leave RWA. Then you created your own success in MCW Mayhem Championship Wrestling, where it
Hmm.
established you as a main event superstar. So how'd that do for you in your career? Like, how was that?
You know, it was big. At the time, I lost my first match, and I was like, man, I can't go out like this. I can't just join another league, perform bad, and not go anywhere with it. So I pushed myself. So my next match, 1v1 versus the world champion, Percy Owens, I beat him. First ever time I believe he's gotten beaten as well on the show. So that was an accomplishment for me in my first ever 1v1. Then going on to a triple threat number contender shot for the world title, the Monster Miles and Christian in a triple threat elimination. I ended up winning. Then going on to face Percy Owens at the pay-per-view and ended up beating them barely, but I did it.
Your career in MCW truly was special. That's where you got your nickname, the Snapmare God. I mean,
Hmm.
you pinned people off of it. It seems like wasn't a deadly move, but the way you did it, like you could just snap someone's neck instantly. The way you did it, it was basically a dangerous Snapmare. Like, where did the origins of that move come to go? Like, why did you start? Like, why did it end? People say to this day, like we don't see it from you as often. So
You know, I feel like back then people didn't expect it. You know, it was the way that I could do it as well. Like people, they didn't expect it, so they didn't see it coming, and it was just like people, they couldn't reverse it, they couldn't kick out of it. I actually pinned one of the top guys in RWA and MCW. A big known name actually, Mason Bowen, pinned him at the pay-per-view off of it. And that I think solidified my snapmare. I've always worked on it though, and the reason I think why I don't do it now is I'm just waiting for it to get unknown again, just so I can bring it back out get my next victim.
You and that snapmare was truly devastating, and it took the whole wrestling world by storm. Definitely. It was crazy just to think about that, and just to see how it all went down. It was just amazing to me. But shifting our attention to BOW, Basic Online Wrestling, you were featured
Yeah.
strongly in that, and I believe
Yes, I
you
was.
were the Rising Stars champion at a point. So I watched it a lot, frequently. Every match you did, you were basically the ringmaster champion there. So what was
hmm
like your reason for joining BOW in the first place?
It was just something to do at that point. Every league that I've been in basically is out of business. Well, was at that time, and so I was just like, you know what, might as well try it out. First time playing wrestling, and well, going back with wrestling in over a year, and it was tough. You know, I was rusty and everything. They, as you could tell, I was kind of pale. I shaved. You know, I looked like a whole different man out there, and
Yes, you
it was
did.
something new.
Yes, you did. Uh, uh, you really were really different. I mean, you looked like you stayed away from the sun. Your hair wasn't shaved. You looked pretty different, I will say. And you even wore a different attire.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, back to the focus.
Yeah.
You took on a lot of people in your time at BOW. Oh my god, that's funny. Oh,
Uh, oh
you
yeah.
took.
All
Okay,
right.
let's
Okay.
let's focus.
Let's get back. Yeah, let's get back to it.
You
Okay.
took on a lot of people in BOW. One of those people
Yeah.
being someone you really didn't like a lot. His name is AJ Payne. Um, AJ Payne, you have experience with him beforehand. MCW. I believe Alpha Omega at a time. Like, what was that for you to like see him again? Or yeah.
You know, I thought it was gonna be a nice experience, but like he's completely changed. I mean, me and him, we used to be best friends and everything. We used to do everything together. We used to travel together with shows and stuff. He was the one to get me into MCW. So I give it all to him and appreciate him a lot. But he's changed a lot. Me and him, we don't talk as much. We don't, like, he just kind of left me, which sucks, but it is what it is. And I can move on without him. I've always been better than him. So,
We've seen
yeah.
a few matches, I believe a series of two or three with you and him and BOW. And how was like I don't believe I just asked this, but like how was it getting back in the ring though? Was he a
Oh, it
changed
was
competitor? Like
he was changed. I'm not used to that AJ Payne, I will say. Um, I'm used to the one that could barely even do a drop kick, maybe barely even jump up for an enziguri. But he looked amazing out there, I will say, when I was wrestling him. He's completely changed, I will say.
and
His
then you
entire
also
wrestling style.
reunited with another MCW guy named Zion. I mean, you and him,
Oh,
God, the history there is huge. I mean, just look, y'all guys wrestled a lot together in MCW. Y'all guys
hmm
had, I believe, talked a lot together in MCW as well. Like, how
yeah.
was it again seeing someone like Zion again?
Um, it was interesting because me and him, we're 50-50 on our relationship status of friends. Either we're arguing or we're relaxed. So it's like we got into a lot of arguments in the back. So that was kind of awkward when there's a bunch of people around, but you know. And I understand why I did screw him over out of the world title in MCW, turned on his back in our tag team. So I understand why he'd be mad at me.
Um, like I said, BOW was also like it wasn't the best place for you, but also you met a lot of people like Brian Adams. That's where you met him. You met people
hmm
like a lot, you know? You met new
Yeah,
competitors, you fought new competitors, Chase Elliott, even there.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
you BOW was probably not the best place for you, but you sure did meet a lot of people that you talk to this day. So we see how good you are inside the ring, right? What about outside?
Yeah.
What skills do you got outside the ring?
Um, you know, I go down to the basketball hoop sometimes. You know, I'm a decent basketball player myself. That's probably my profession outside of wrestling. So that's what I probably do the most.
So if you had to choose a profession, what would it be? Wrestling or basketball?
If I honestly was good enough to go pro, I'd be a basketball player over a wrestler, but my
Wow,
wrestling
that
career
is
isn't good.
huge to even think about.
Hmm. It is.
So what you're trying to say right now is you enjoy basketball over wrestling?
Correct.
I mean, you
I'd
are the
100% say
ringmaster champion currently, so that could change. So,
that. Yeah.
um, you really shown why you belong here in RWA. Do you feel like people didn't take you seriously when you came back, or like people thought you weren't gonna go anywhere? We seen you in the world title tournament. You lost the second round to Chaos, someone you're gonna be fighting pretty soon on metal. So, what was the whole thing with you? Like, did you just have no confidence?
It was a mixture of having no confidence and coming back. At that time, BOW ended up going out of business again. They didn't make enough money, and RWA came back, and I probably didn't wrestle for about 6 months. So I came back. I beat a guy called Kyle. Haven't heard of him since. And then I went on to the second round, faced Chaos, and sadly lost. It was pretty embarrassing, I will say. And ever since then, I feel like I've had something to prove.
And we seen you prove that at Down in Flames when you captured the Ringmaster Championship, defeating Elijah King, who already at that time was 4 matches in. So, how'd you feel
Hmm.
taking that from him? How'd you feel taking that 4 matches in grind from him?
You know, he earned a lot of respect from me, but at the end of the day, it's a business, and I just had to win the title. You know, he made it easier for me, I will say.
In that Ringmaster Gauntlet match as well, people like Bruiser Owens, Andrew Storm, John Carter, yourself, and Elijah King was all featured in that match. Elijah King outlasting everyone. Like I said, it was truly spectacular, what he
It
did.
was.
But at the same time, it was truly spectacular what you did, capturing the Ringmaster Championship. Because you're getting closer and closer to becoming Grand Slam champion in RWA. How do you feel about that? Like, how do you feel about becoming close to winning all the belts here in RWA?
It's a crazy thing to think about. I've already tied basically my record with MCW. I won 2 titles technically with MCW, and I've won 2 in RWA. So, but now that MCW is out of business, um, I'm looking to get Grand Slam in RWA. If I could do that, that'd prove a lot to a lot of the people that doesn't believe in me. So I'm hoping I can do that in the future.
Speaking about the World Championship, if you even do go in that division, we do know there's people like the Monster Miles, Percy Owens, Demon Jello, even the return of Mr. White. Who knows? He could even go for it. How would you feel
Yeah.
like? How would you fit in that? How would you fit in that?
Um, I'd say first of all, I'm not worried about Percy Owens. I will say, uh, I've talked to him myself. He doesn't train that much. He just has the talent, I will say. But same with me as well. I train more than him though. Um, I feel like I can beat him. I've done it before. Uh, Joe White though, facing him would be an honor. Um, I could get a little bit of my payback for not being in that history of the breakout title. So that'd be nice.
You also do have a lot of experience with some of the people in there. Uh,
I do.
how would it be like taking on your best friend Brian Adams in that match, if y'all did have one?
You know, it'd be a really good match. I feel like both of us can high fly, I would say. We're both technical wrestlers. We could both slow down the pace. We could speed it up. We could do it all. So I think our match, if we ever had one, would be a 5-star match, easily.
Now, this is an interesting question. And
Hmm.
down the line, would you ever see Ryan Schiller join the broadcast table with Chad Baldwin, which is myself, uh, in
Yeah.
commentary?
You know, I actually would. I'm thinking when I'm probably done in RWA, I feel like I'd come and join the commentary booth, and you know, it'd be a fun experience to watch new young wrestlers wrestle out there, have good 5-star matches.
Yeah, I mean, it would be an honor even to be working with you, considering what you've done in your career. I mean, you've just been a groundbreaker, starting new trends like Snapmare God, for example.
Yeah.
You were legit a
Hmm.
Snapmare God at that point. Defeating multiple
Yeah.
people with that same move. You truly are pretty amazing. You've done it all, but one of the matches and one of the things I gotta talk about is what's your best match you've ever had in RWA?
In RWA. Honestly, the best match I think I've ever had is probably when I won the breakout title versus King K. That match, I'll just say, King K though, is probably the biggest idiot I've ever faced. I don't know how he won the title. He managed to get me a point off putting himself through the table, but that's besides the point.
I will
Um,
say that's pretty foolish to do.
it is, I will say, it was interesting. It was probably though my best match ever in RWA. It was a very fun experience.
Now, we
So,
talked about your best match. What about your greatest rival you've ever had? The one that pushed you to your limits. It could be MCW, RWA, Alpha Omega even.
easily Percy Owens. I felt like every time I faced him, I had something to prove. I wanted to be the best. I wanted to beat him, and I ended up doing that. He's actually never beaten me in a 1v1 clean. So, yeah, something interesting to think about. I beat him for the world title. That was an amazing moment. Um, he's easily, though, the toughest competitor I've ever faced.
Now, you've had people on Twitter after you lost to Chaos in the second round of that world title tournament. They were people like Marco Sparks, the Monster Miles, people on Twitter laughing at you saying how you lost to Chaos.
Yeah,
How would you
it was.
respond to those people, and like, do you want to get your hands on them at all?
I've always wanted to have a rivalry with Marco Sparks. It's always been a thing. It just sadly we've never had an opportunity to have it. Uh, when it was going to happen in MCW, he ended up retiring, and in RWA now he's nowhere to be found. So that'll
Mm,
probably never happen. But if I could have one match ever, it would be to face Marco Sparks.
wait, you do know Ryan Shuler that Marco Sparks is in the Hollywood industry, right? Making movies.
Yeah, he is. He is the. He has some talent, I will say. He always has.
A lot of people
And
say that he was the greatest. He was the greatest heel this company have ever seen.
I would agree, and I would say even the best wrestler that this company has ever seen. He pushed everyone's limits. The best on the mic I've ever seen. I mean, he could do it all. You know, he didn't care what anybody thought about him, which I always loved that. You know, he just went out there and won matches.
Also the founder of You Suck TV. I mean, what a great show that
Yeah,
was. You
that
Suck
was an amazing show.
You Suck TV was there for a while. Sadly, we don't get to see it anymore, considering he's in the
I
Hollywood
watched it every
industry.
week.
Yeah. Now, speaking of you watching, um, you were watching and you had your eye on the Rebel Rumble that happened in 2020. Um, you've seen
Hmm.
people in there. Uh, Michael Corey was one of them. Uh,
Yeah,
and there were rumors going around that you made some strong comments about him. Uh,
I
what
did.
were those? They were true.
They were true.
What? Why would you? What'd you say though? What did you say to Michael Corey in the comments?
You know, I said a lot of vulgar things to Michael Corey. Uh, we went back and forth at it. We even had a little bit of a fight and everything like that. Me and him, we've never been good friends or anything like that. Starting back when he was my GM in MCW on Retribution. So, starting back then.
Retribution. Let's talk about that. I
Yeah.
mean, you were featured heavily on that. I mean, come on. Uh, but at the same time, like you said, the GM of that did not like you, and you didn't like him. So, how was
Yeah.
Retribution for you? How was that experience?
It was fun. That's where I won my second world title, and I'm the only wrestler ever to win the world title on Retribution and Mayhem. So that was a fun experience when I did that. Um, Being drafted first overall as well was truly amazing. Actually, though, what a lot of people don't know about that draft is I was talking with the other owner of GM of Mayhem at the time,
Hmm.
Shaney Boy. Um, he told me that in the backstage that he was going to draft me number one because he had the first overall pick over Retribution, but
Hmm.
took Seth Evans instead. And I felt a little bit disrespected after that. Felt like I had something to prove.
And you indeed proved yourself, considering today you are the Ringmaster Championship, and I'm pretty sure you're holding it, or you have it showcased in the back right now. Uh,
Oh yeah.
Speaking about the Ringmaster Championship division, besides Elijah King, which I know you had many battles with, who else have you kept your eye on?
I've been keeping my eye on Bruiser Owens. I understand he is old. He is kind of washed up from his prime days. Back when I used to wrestle with him. So, but I'm still keeping my eye on him. He's always been a tough competitor. Doesn't give up easily. Um, John Carter would be another one I'd throw out there. He had an okay performance in the Ringmaster match, but sadly couldn't get the job done.
Now, we've seen a debut coming into the Ringmaster Championship division. We've seen a debut of Maxwell Grimes. How did that guy perform in that match?
I was actually really impressed for someone's first ever match, coming in almost being chaos. I was really excited for him, and I'm hoping I could get a chance to face him in the future.
He's a pretty odd superstar, that's for sure. We've seen that the way he
He
walked.
is.
Uh, there's rumors going around that you laughed at him when he was coming down. Is that true, honestly? Because hearing what you just said, I don't think that's true.
It's not true. I didn't laugh at him. I was interested in his entrance. I did get him some therapy for whenever we do face. I told him he's not going to walk down to the ring like that with me. But yeah, other than that, I did not say those words.
Or you didn't laugh at him.
I didn't laugh at him. Yes.
Um, you truly are a special athlete, and RWA Metal and RWA in general is just happy to have you back. You truly have been pretty good since your return. You picked up wins on pay-per-views, that being Dark Winter, uh,
Yeah.
even pay-per-views like State of Decay. Fun fact, you have not been defeated since your return in an RWA pay-per-view. Your first RWA
I
pay-per-view
know.
since your return was State of Decay against not
Yeah.
Kyle, but Kyle Kent. We haven't heard of him in a
Yeah.
while. But at Dark Winter, you defeated Air Metal, and which was
Yeah.
such a good match, I will
It
say.
was.
And then at Down in Flames, you won the Gauntlet match. So are you gonna keep this like pay-per-view streak up?
Oh yeah, for sure. Actually, thinking back at it, even before I joined back, I believe I was undefeated at pay-per-views. Because I believe I only wrestled at one pay-per-view, which was Hell to Pay, which I won the breakout title in. So far, I believe I am undefeated at pay-per-views, which I'm gonna keep that streak going all the way up to WrestleMania. So I got that.
I will say that was pretty good.
Yeah.
You are truly you've kept everything about you ever since you've debuted. Um, truly been crazy. We'll
It
say
has been.
it's been a crazy ride ever since the rebirth of RWA.
Oh yeah.
You started off like we said, a little shaky, getting the cobwebs off, dusting them off, cleaning them, putting even wipes on them. But you seem like you've truly bricked out. You know, uh, you're back to what you used to be, your form. You know, uh,
Oh yeah.
I will say it's a pleasure commentating and calling your matches. It's really been pretty good. I'm always entertained by you on Metal. So, is there anyone you'd like to face in 2021 going forward?
Counting that are not in the league still, or in the league right now.
Counting anybody that anybody in the league, anybody that's not. Who do you want to get your hands on?
I'll give you an answer for both. Um, so, out of the league, maybe he could come back in the future easily. Marco Sparks, always have wanted to face him. Probably never will. Right now in the league, I would say, honestly, probably Brian Adams. So, those are probably my two answers.
That would be such a dream match to see, by the way. We've never seen y'all guys cross paths at all. Like, even get into the ring together. That is such a dream match. It'd be really,
Yeah.
truly awesome to see. What what would you do if someone like the Monster was thrown your way? He's someone that you really have no experience of facing, but at times you fought him. Counting back to MCW.
It would be interesting. Obviously, he has the size over me. He has the height. He has the wingspan. He has everything over me. But, the one thing I got over him is speed. I got the heart. You know,
Championship.
I, yeah. And, he's lost it all right now. He's down bad right now. He's on rock bottom right now. So, I feel like if I were to face him right now in a match, I could beat him.
You know, another interesting match now that we're just thinking about it is you versus Garbage, aka the Elite of RWA. How would that be? How would that turn out?
I think that would actually be an awesome match because me and him, we've never had a 1v1 match. The closest we've gotten is in a battle royale. So it'd be a pretty fun experience to work with them and stuff like that. Have a match with them. And the promos would be amazing.
That same
So,
Battle Royal you talk about, Garbage claims he's won that, so it would be pretty good, just to look at and just see with my own eyes and call it. If it does happen, it would be amazing. That's for sure.
oh yeah.
Um, we've seen you be a little bit quiet when it comes to New Empire, like the full team. Do you just don't want to get on their bad side?
Yeah, I think that's most of it. I feel like though if I were to get on their bad side, I could beat them in a 3v1 handicap. No problem. Um, I don't see them as a threat, but I just don't want to deal with them right now.
Who is somebody that you could not just like get along with backstage? We've heard Jello, but I believe there's someone else. Like
Someone else
even
other than Jello?
yes.
Um, I would say me and Chris Smith never gotten along that much. Um, Maybe every now and then. Beast as well. We've had our differences. Um, and I must say, Beast, he is a totally different person, I will say. He's cleaned up his wrestling mistakes. He's gotten rid of that face paint. He's a changed person.
And I think that's what you need if you're coming back with a return like that. Beast has
Oh
been
yeah.
seen since the Rebel Rumble. That's going back to it. Actually, no, when I think about it, last time we seen him was Apocalypse Rising. Apocalypse Rising, he was involved in that world title gauntlet match. And what's funny about that is that you were just involved in the gauntlet match. So,
Yeah.
who do you think has more experience in that like department, or do you think y'all guys are equal in the?
I think we're equal in that department.
Think you're equal?
I think we're equal.
So, out of all the shows you've been on, what show has been like the best for you?
Um, Probably MCW. I gotta say it. Um, that was my first love. I won the world title there. That was my first big push that I ever got. They treated me well. Everything was right. Um, RWA though, this second, I will say. Um, they might not have always treated me right. The management was never always good, but it was still fun having other competitors here and good wrestlers. So
I heard the
and putting on good
current
matches.
I heard the current GM is really strong about you and really wants you to do good. And you coming back into RWA. Not gonna say any names, but that's that.
Yeah, me and him. Me coming back into RWA was a big process. It's been in the works for about 2 years now, a year. It's been in the works. All starting back with the Rumble and continuing on about 6 months ago when I did come back. And the person that really pushed for me back was the Monster Miles. He really wanted me back. So when I got the offer, I was like, let's do it. Let's put on a show.
And at that point, I mean, of course you had to work your way up, but you were like completely thrown into this tournament that featured people like Kevin Rogers, Eldrax, Brawler, Brian Adams, Chaos, uh, even Kyle. Like, how was that for you?
Yeah.
Did you feel like you had it easily in that tournament? And who do you think was like your hardest challenge, like person, if you got that far?
Uh, I would have said it would have been Brian Adams, but just because he did beat me, it was Chaos. He was my hardest challenger there. Um, I felt like if I would have had more time to prepare, wrestle a little bit more, I feel like I could have won it.
Wow, that is strong. I'm sure Brian Adams is listening as well. Um, so what is your end goal of 2021 to like keep your title, win the world title? What's your end goal of 2021?
Just to be a champion and to be recognized and respected by the people in the back.
And to those people
I
who
don't
don't
care.
respect you, what do you say to them?
I mean, most of them that don't respect me, I don't see them with the title. I don't see them doing anything. So they could disrespect me, I guess, all they want.
Now, to the new people making their way in, getting their foot in the door in RWA, what would you say to them? What advice would you give them moving forward? Because we've seen that when you first got here, you had a hard time fitting in. but like you managed to, break out,
I would say just push yourself, be yourself. Don't listen to what anyone says about you, because there will be a lot of criticism coming your way. You just gotta take that and use it for the good
Use
and
it for
prove them wrong.
motivation.
hmm
That's
prove
and
them wrong
that's
and
really
let
what
them
you
win.
did. I mean, everyone thought when you first came here you had nothing to you. You look like that basic wrestler, but you proved yourself and you silenced the haters. And your RWA career currently holds as a breakout champion, ringmaster champion too.
Yeah. Hopefully, gonna add a few more titles there. One being the world. Hoping to win the world within a year. I'd say. I feel like I can win the world. I'm gonna take though my time with it. Don't want to rush myself into it. And then
hmm
when I think it's right, I'm gonna go and win it.
Now there's rumors going around of a tag team division coming back. What would you say to that? I mean, and what would you say to that? And also saying who would be your tag team partner if you chose one?
You know, I'm really excited about that. There's two people in mind that I pick. Number one, just because I want to try out something new. Me and Brian Adams would be, I feel like, an amazing tag team. Him from the top rope, me with the super kick. It would be an amazing combo. He's the future of flight. I'm the more technical guy, I guess you could say. So I feel like we'd be an amazing tag team. The second person being, just because I have experience with him, would be Bruiser Owens. Me and him would do good. I feel like we already know what our play styles are like. We already know what we got to do to win matches, and we know how the company works. So I feel like we could win a bunch of matches.
Okay, speaking about Bruiser Owens, there's actual footage leaked of you and him playing football together. What, like, where did this come to be? Like, why do y'all guys play football together?
We just do it as a little hobby. Um, just to get our mind off wrestling, because you can't go off wrestling 24/7, 10 hours a day. We get our mind on football. We're big football fans. We have debates all the time, arguments all the time. So it's always fun playing football with him. Me and him are like the Jerry Rice and Joe Montana.
Now, what would I say? Now, what about this?
hmm
If there's one team, I know we're like switching our like stuff to football right now, but if there's one
Yeah,
team in 2022 and for football, who do you think's gonna win the championship?
the Seattle Seahawks, all the way. Russell Wilson for MVP, number 3, all day.
Now this is interesting. What about your friend Bruiser Owens?
The Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I'm telling you, they're annoying. Oh, Big Ben, the rapist, but we're gonna go off that. But yeah, he for sure thinks the Steelers.
Now, why do you call Ben a racist? I mean, not racist, but yeah, why do you call him that?
A rapist. It's because there was some allegations of him doing that, and I don't know if they ever got proven wrong or anything, but so I just call him a rapist.
You heard it here first, guys. I want everyone to take this. I want them to make a clip out of this. RWA Superstar, breakout champion, ringmaster champion, thinks Big Ben is racist. I want y'all
No,
guys
a
to save
rapist.
this clip.
A,
Wait, I want y'all guys to save
yep,
this clip
yep.
and then send it to everyone you know. Because we just heard here, guys. Share the podcast, by the way. If you're enjoying this, make sure you subscribe, like it, If you want, who do you want to see next on the show? I'll be down if I can get garbage, any of those guys, Having you on here as my second guest is a blessing in itself, and I never thought I'd be talking to you one on one like this, so it's crazy.
Uh,
I do want to
It
say
is.
thank you for it's not over yet. Still got 20
Yeah.
minutes left, but I just want to say thank you for even taking time out of your day to. I know your schedule's been. You're pretty.
hmm I would say, for people that want to have wrestling tips, I always give out wrestling tips on my YouTube channel, Bio 101, Brian Shuler. If you want to get wrestling tips from me, go right ahead. I'll send you the moves, all you need. I'll get you better at the game. I'll get you your kick ass up. Just come to me.
Ah, you'll get better in the game of wrestling, the professional game of
Yes,
wrestling. Um,
it is a professional game.
um, but you really have just been outstanding. This is the year of Ryan Shuler. The
It
Ryan
is.
Shuler era is here. And 2020 was a little rocky and a little crazy for you, but you really picked it up here in 2021.
Oh yeah, for sure.
How long do you see yourself holding this Ringmaster Championship?
Um, I'm gonna say a year. I'm gonna say a year.
Who do you see defeating you for it though? That's the real question.
I think eventually Elijah King will learn how to beat me and get better and motivate himself enough and end up beating me, which I'd be down for. I'd love to see him as champion.
He has defeated you before too.
He has.
It only occurred once though. Ever since that, he's
Yeah.
like not defeated you at all.
Yeah. What I like to do is for people that I've never faced is I like to not go into the match as I normally would someone that I've faced a lot. I go into it, I try to learn what they're going to do for the next time. I always think ahead. I don't think for that match. Um, I always try to think ahead for the future and what to do.
Ever since your return though, I will say you've been outstanding. Um, we saw Bruiser Owens even return. Word has it that
hmm
you put in the word for him to come back.
I did. Um, we needed another guy for a match. The guy that we originally had got arrested for driving under the influence, and so yeah, he is gone now. We haven't seen him in a little while. Named by Sam Jones. So yeah. So I got Bruiser Owens to come back. I talked to the GM and the owner about it. They were down for it, so I got him back.
I will say, Sam Jones is someone that really has not been impressive at all. Um, he needs to try to make a comeback, I will say.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Um, yeah, he's had pretty much of a disappointing career, not to be mean or anything. He
Yeah.
keeps returning and leaving, returning and leaving. I just wonder what's going on with that man. Do you have any, like, insight what's happening with him?
Uh, you know, his life right now is rough. Things are just happening, and I feel like when he comes back, though, he's gonna come back with vengeance, and I feel like he's gonna win a bunch of matches. I've always thought he has talent, and I feel like he's gonna come back, beat a few guys that we don't expect him to beat, and maybe win a championship or two. I think that's gonna happen.
This marks the second time he was in RWA. The first time
Yeah.
went terrible. Loss after loss after loss. Even your dog agrees. Like, it was terrible. Um,
Yeah. People outside, on the Zoom call.
oh
You know.
man, just having fun here, picking at you.
Yeah.
But God, um, ah,
uh,
I don't know what's going on right now, but Sir, your mic,
Uh,
your mic, your mic, your mic.
what? Oh,
Um,
is
but you
this
really, yeah,
better?
yes, it
Okay.
is. Thank you.
It's just the Zoom call, it was kind of glitching out.
Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Buffering. Not the first time it
Yeah.
happened.
Oh, buffering? Okay, okay. Just let me know
Okay.
when it happens again. Let me
Yep.
know when it happens again.
Um. So what would you say is like the worst rivalry you've ever been in? Like the one that was just not interesting and you just didn't care about at all.
Um, Probably, honestly, if I were to think back about it, probably my one with KJ. I wasn't interested in it. He couldn't cut the best of promos, which I love doing promos. That's like one of my things. Couldn't do that. He could put on good matches. He could dominate, but he just couldn't do promos. So probably that's the worst rivalry I've ever been in, I would say.
People would argue that you were also at the time terrible at promos.
Uh, yeah, I think, you know, I think how I got better at promos is just doing them over time, repeating them hours a day. And I got my voice a little bit better, got that tone. And ever since I got that tone in my voice, I just ran with it and I've been good at promos since.
We saw
'Cause,
that
I
metal.
feel like, oh yeah, my promo was amazing, I know. But,
Yeah. It was amazing.
um, but, to the people that ain't the best at promos, I feel like it's some of them, it's their voice. I feel bad for the people that have a higher pitched voice when you look like you're supposed to be a dominant wrestler and you just have a higher pitched voice. So I feel bad for those people. But luckily that wasn't the case with me. But to the people that also just ain't too good at promos, just rinse and repeat them every day for like an hour or two a day, and I guarantee you'll get better.
Now, you at a time were called the self-proclaimed God, Snapmare God.
Yeah.
Is there anyone that influenced you to do that move at all in your career?
Probably that'd be 3 people. No, I'd say 4. Beast, Zion, Bruiser Owens, and probably, honestly, Mike.
Mike?
Seth Evans.
Okay.
Seth Evans, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Middle name Mike.
Mm. Okay. But Seth Evans is like the main reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say the main reason is mostly Zion and Bruiser Owens. I'd say those are like the main reasons.
A lot of people call you the
Because
carbon copy of Seth Evans, by the way.
yeah, I would know a few of those people. Especially every time we get in a locker room with each other, I always gotta hear his mouth moving 24/7. He thinks he's one of the best in RWA, but I'm just saying I feel like I could top him in a 1v1. I'm not gonna say names or anything, but yeah, we know me and you both know.
Listen, you can say whatever you want on this show. There's no restrictions.
I mean, my guy American Trash. I heard he's been talking
Wow.
a little bit. I mean, I feel like I could top him in a 1v1. And,
He was another one of those doubters that doubted your career, saying that you'll never make it. You're too generic of a wrestler. Like,
I've gotten that a lot.
and that your
And I got proven
tires
to
are
be wrong.
always lackluster. But
Yeah.
a lot will like argue that your tires are even better than Marco Sparks. So
Yeah, I would say that. I'd agree with that.
who makes your tires,
I think,
by the way?
oh, who makes my tires? I get them made at RWA, like in the back with the people, customer service and stuff, RWAshop.com, you can find some of my tires, a small price. I'll get an autograph signed of $1,000 for my tire, ring used. Autograph sign.
Wow, you're here, guys. How many of those tires have you signed? I mean, already.
Already I've signed about 20,
Wow.
and there's gonna be only 50 in stock. 50 in
Wow,
stock.
guys, you're here. Go to rwa.com.shop. Go pick up some. It's
Yeah.
probably already out of stock as we're talking.
Yeah.
Y'all guys heard it here
So
first. Go grab yourself a signed pair of pants by Ryan Schiller.
got some real diamonds in there.
I like
They're-
I like a certain someone's attire.
Oh, who would that name be?
I think a lot of people know who I'm talking about.
Interesting. What do you say? He has better tires than me.
Nah, that's why he uses fake
Okay.
diamonds.
Oh, you just fake diamonds. Okay. Nice to know. See, me though, coming back to RWA, they're paying me on a lower salary, but I'll get that boosted up. I'll get that boosted up
Now,
because I had to accept a lower salary to come back.
we've seen 24 karat gold attire, we've seen silver attire, and we've even
Yep.
seen your current one, which is pretty
Hmm.
good. What is your
Yep.
favorite attire you've ever had?
Honestly, it's where I wear a jacket and it had the words "fuck RWA" on it.
Oh wow!
Yeah. No, I'm joking.
Now I regret having you on the show. Wow, this
Uh,
is crazy.
it was it had to have been my favorite attire. It got heel heat. People hated me, which I don't care what people think about me in the back. And it was just a fun thing to have
Who was
on the
one of those
show.
people, by the way? Who was one of those people? If you don't mind me asking.
That were that would hate on me.
Mm-hmm.
One being the American Trash.
Wow,
As
he
one of
seems
those
like he
people.
never really liked you.
Yeah, me and him, we've had our differences, but we've been somewhat friends. Somewhat friends throughout the years. And, I think the whole roster was kind of mad at me when I did do that stunt. And, hey, I mean, Percy Owens did something close to it. He did a RWA thing with the X around it, so, yeah.
When did you make that attire, by the way?
Probably back in 2018.
You had it custom made?
2018. Had it custom made.
But let me ask, whoever made that probably is fired, considering they made it after the show.
Yes, they definitely got fired. But don't worry, I had to pay extra to get that attire made.
And
I'll
I
say
bet you
that.
were fined as well for having such offensive words on
Oh,
your
I
jacket.
got fined, but I never paid the fine. Don't worry.
Guys, call the cops right now. Get this man off my show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's gonna wrap up the podcast. I do appreciate you joining me. This has been a pretty fun podcast, I'd say. Having you
Oh
as
yeah.
my second guest, learning about you, learning about what you've
Yeah.
done. It's been pretty fun. I just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your day to spend your time with mine and joining my
Hmm.
podcast.
Yeah.
It's been
Thank you for
pretty.
having me on the show.
It was really fun, and ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 3 concluded. The podcast is signing off. My name's Chad Baldwin, and thank you for watching the podcast. Thank you, guys.